What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is the Jose Show. Happy Tuesday. I hope that everyone is enjoying their day. But anyways, let's get into the hot business. Now let's talk about former Disney Channel star Christy Carlson Romano. So former Even Steven star Christy Carlson Romano unfortunately got shot in the face this past weekend, but fortunately she was able to survive. So Romano 40 took to Instagram on February 8th to share what she said happened the day prior while celebrating her husband Brendan Rooney's birthday. So yesterday was my husband's birthday and I took him to shoot clay pigeons as a present. There was another party with us and they unsafely fired in the wrong direction and shot me in the face, she wrote in the caption of her post. Now Romano said her husband immediately sprung into action, assessed me, and rushed me to the hospital. So I was hit in 5 places. One was less than an inch from hitting me directly in my right eye, she continued in the caption. Unfortunately, a fragment got lodged behind my eye and it is too risky to remove surgically at this time. Doctors will continue to monitor me. I can see normally at this moment. Okay, so Romano said that despite everything that happened, all I can think about is how grateful I am to be alive. So I love my daughters, husband, family, and friends so much, she concluded her post. I saw my life flash before my eyes and I'm telling you, hug the people around you every chance you can. Life can change in an instant. So in a video accompanying her post, the Disney Channel alum gave a look at her injuries and pointed out the fragments she says are still in her face. So Romano also thanked the first responders and medical professionals at the hospital where she says she was treated, calling them superhero-like people. So Rooney commented on his wife's post, referring to her as the bravest, toughest, most stoic and baddest woman I have ever met. Okay, so this is really insane that Christy Carlson Romano was able to survive from the shot that was on her face, because I think that normally or a lot of times people do not survive from all of this. But I believe that this woman is a very strong woman in order to survive from all of this, and her husband is a very good husband into taking her all the way to the hospital in order to get treated immediately. Now, I am so happy that she was able to survive, and I am so happy that she is able to still be with her children and with her husband, because Christy Carlson Romano deserves to live, ladies and gentlemen. But I believe that Christy Carlson Romano and her husband and her children, of course, would have done something else instead of having to be shooting pigeons, because I believe that shooting is very dangerous, okay? Like, they should have gone out to the lake, they should have gone out to the beach, they should have done something safer, okay? And I believe that from now on, that's what they're gonna do. Now, I don't know, y'all, but I just think that these people, in my opinion, are those kind of people that really are into pigeons, because, I mean, I just heard in this article that they went out to shoot pigeons. Now, pigeons are really beautiful. I believe that they should not be shot at all. They should just be there, okay? Let's respect the animals, okay? But I am not an environmentalist. I'm just saying, okay? But anyways, Christy Carlson Romano, I do think, in my opinion, that you should really get your eye treated, not immediately, but like eventually, because I believe that if you're not going to be treating your eye at all, there could be chances that you're going to be like blind for the rest of your life from that eye, and you do not want to be blind at all, okay? And I think that it must be very disturbing and it must be very bothering having to have something behind your eye after all. But anyways, I also think it's very dangerous, in my personal opinion, that she still has something behind her eyeball, because, I mean, there could be chances that, I don't know, maybe she could lose blood behind her eyeball or something with that thing that she has behind her eyelid or behind her, eyeball, and it's just, you know, very scary. So in my opinion, I feel like she needs to get it treated, okay? But anyways, that is what I have to say about this, but please stay safe. All right, now on to the next topic. Now let's talk about David Letterman and Jimmy Fallon. So around 3:47 mark of Jimmy Fallon's monologue on Monday's The Tonight Show, David Letterman came out of retirement to crash the party. Is this the 23rd hour of the Today Show, he quipped, before reuniting with former music director Paul Schaffer, filming a lame TikTok and slapping Fallon in the face with a tortilla. Okay, so, anywho, apparently it was all smiles. It was all a surprise that this guy, David Letterman, got to arrive at the Jimmy Fallon show. And it was also very, very, very surprising, not only for Jimmy Fallon, but also for the whole entire audience, because as we all know, David Letterman is a huge icon in the talk business. And man, I think that David Letterman is definitely wanted to be back in the night late business, because I believe that he is a very good talk show host. He really has a good humor. He has a really good personality. But unfortunately, he had to retire because, he was already in his ages, and of course, he already needs to rest anyways. But I just feel like this guy really is the Jimmy Fallon of the 80s or 90s, because he really was out there interviewing the best artists of the world. He was interviewing Mariah Carey, he was interviewing maybe Michael Jackson and many other artists out there that really were in the business. And I think that, in my opinion, if David Letterman were to return to the late night business, trust me, this guy would be killing it in the ratings. This guy would be all over social media, and I'm sure that this guy would be able to throw off a really good show, and I believe that he would be able to throw off a better show than Jimmy Fallon and Jimmy Kimmel combined. Let's be realistic. I just think that, in my opinion though, this guy really is like, okay, well, I feel like maybe I should just pave the way to Jimmy Fallon, to Jimmy Kimmel, to any other late night host nowadays, because I believe that now it's their time to shine. And honestly, I think that's perfectly fair, because I do believe that right now, they are having a really good peak right now when it comes to the late night business, especially Jimmy Fallon, because Jimmy Fallon, as we all know, has been killing it in the ratings lately, and he's been highly loved lately, and also Jimmy Kimmel. I do think, though, that David Letterman, though, really, in my opinion, should be like at least giving Jimmy Fallon some advice now that he was on that show, because I think that if David Letterman gives out advice towards Jimmy Fallon and also towards Jimmy Kimmel and any other late night host, I believe that they would be able to follow his advice, and they would be able to really know how to do the late night shows really better. They've been doing it well, but I believe that they would be doing it even better, because I believe that there's nothing better than to have advice from the king itself, like David Letterman. So let's be realistic. But anywho, I do think that this guy, David Letterman, needs to be a guest on the Jimmy Fallon show more often, and I believe that he needs to be a guest on Jimmy Kimmel as well, and any other late night host and any other late night show, because I believe that that's how it should be. But anyways, it's good to see that he's doing fine. It's good to see that he is healthy, even though I believe he's like already in his 70s or almost 80s, I believe. So anywho, on to the next topic. Now let's talk about Pete Davidson. So Pete Davidson is cleaner than ever, and he gets to kind of strip it down. Well, he's boyfriend material, because Pete Davidson has spent the last several years removing his nearly 200 tattoos, and now he's ready to show off his clean slate. So just in time for Valentine's Day, the former SNL cast member and go-to compliment to beautiful and talented women everywhere stars in Reformation's latest campaign, showing off his buff bod and boxer briefs. Okay, so apparently Davidson 31 also models a limited edition official boyfriend sweatshirt, $108 by the way. In one of the snaps, the brand's also selling an official girlfriend sweatshirt for couples who'd like to coordinate. So in an accompanying video written and directed by Matthew Frost, the king of Staten Island star relishes his role as a dotting beau, arriving at a Reformation store and offering reassuring feedback like, "You look amazing, you should definitely get that, and could I put that on my card, please?" So it's been quite a comeback season for Pete, who began the painful process of scrubbing his body of all ink last year. Alright, so in December, he was named creative director of Double Soul, a funky sock line, which allowed him to reflect on his formerly flashy fashion sense. So this is really amazing that Pete Davidson is cleaning his whole entire body, because I think that this guy looks way better without his tattoos than when he had tattoos, because when he had tattoos, he looked kind of vulgar and he looked kind of crazy. And now that he doesn't have tattoos, now he looks very professional, very himself. And I think that it's going to attract more women to be towards him. Like, he already was dating women here and there with the tattoos. Let's remember that he was with Ariana Grande, he was with Kate Beckinsale, and he was also with Kim Kardashian, who happens to be like almost twice his age. But yet again, he wasn't really attracting a lot of women like he might be now. And I think that now that he doesn't have all of these tattoos, I mean, he is like actually feeling more comfortable enough to like go out there and not even worry on if people are going to be reading anything on his body. And he's basically like, okay, well, maybe people aren't even going to recognize me anymore because people recognize me as this tattoo boy, and now I'm a different person, so there's no way that anybody is going to be bugging me now that I look so different without these tattoos. Like, that's how I feel that could be. And it's really interesting though too how this guy over here posing it like there's no tomorrow in these photos that he recently has in. And by the way, he looks so good, man, just posing it, man. I mean, those muscles, man, really do have a huge highlight in him. And then that little pack that he has too really has a good fit in him as well. And I think that this right here is definitely calling for a good Hollister campaign as well, and also maybe for a really good Aeropostale campaign as well, because of how good his body looks without any tattoos. And I mean, now that he's over here campaigning underwear and he's over here campaigning other things, I think that he's going to make a lot of money off of this. I think that he's really going to be able to create so much publicity, of course, and he's also going to be able to make so much money to the point that maybe he might be in the level of Kim Kardashian, or maybe he might be in the level of Selena Gomez, of Rihanna, you know, when it comes to making money from clothing. And I think that I am so here for this, you know? But yet again, I do feel like this guy should continue off doing other things with comedy, because comedy is definitely his thing. Like, for example, I believe that he should, I don't know, continue off on SNL. He should continue off doing other things, because I believe that if he doesn't continue doing this stuff, then I mean, I don't think that it's going to be Pete Davidson anymore, who we're going to know. It's just going to be a simple model. And I just feel like, you know, yes, it's cool having to see him model here and there and campaign here and there, but I just feel like we really need that comedy Pete Davidson back, you know? Like, come on now. His jokes are really good. His personality is also really good. So, come on now, Pete. Come on now. But anyways, on to the next topic. Now let's talk about a house that is set next to Barbra Streisand's house over in Malibu. Well, set next to Barbra Streisand's longtime property, this estate once was owned by pop songwriter / composer Burt Bacharach, and more recently Hans Zimmer, who won Academy Awards for the score at the 1994 film The Lion King and of the 2021 movie Dune. The composer bought the property from Bacharach in 1995 with his now ex-wife Suzanne Zimmer, who's now selling the home. Okay, so it's a magical place, she said. There are storybook paths, creeks, and ponds, and small moments throughout the property. Leonard Rabinowitz of Christie's International Real Estate Southern California, who co-listed it with colleague Aaron Kirkman and Chris Cortazzo of Compass, said that it's rare to find such a large oceanfront property. It has a zen feeling that you don't get elsewhere, calling the property a paradise. Suzanne Zimmer said that you can see dolphins and whales from the kitchen. Okay, so anyways, throughout the years, she grew oranges, grapefruit figs, apples, peaches, plums, avocados, blackberries, and strawberries, turning them into jam and selling them locally and online under the brand name Happy the Golden Jam. Okay, so Zimmer, who worked in the transportation department of the 2012 film Mary's Buttons and in the music department of 2006's The Holiday, raised chickens, and her children kept bunnies and turtles as pets. Now, the house, Zimmer said, needs a big, happy boy boisterous family. My children are all grown. Okay, so the house, which is 5,764 square feet, has 7 bedrooms and 6 bathrooms, and it was designed by Peter Choate in 1978. The grounds are over 1.5 acres. Okay, so this is really insane that this house is on sale, but I don't blame the people that are selling this house, because I know that this house is in a really risky area of wildfire, since this house is in the area of Malibu. I am just so surprised that this house never got into shambles with the wildfires, because I believe that since wildfires are really intense, I mean, it doesn't just affect one house or 2 houses, it affects like a huge area. But I just believe that the reason to why this house never got burned down in the wildfires is because the miracle of God was really there, I'm pretty sure. And I'm also surprised that Barbara Streisand's house also never got burnt down either. But I don't know though, I have a feeling that the reason to why this house and Barbara Streisand's house and the other houses in this neighborhood never got burned down was because I believe that this area of Malibu might be more near Los Angeles and more near Beverly Hills, where there were no wildfires probably. And also, I think that the reason to why these people are selling this house is because of the fact that they do not want to be at risk of any wildfires. I mean, I don't think it's a freaking coincidence that just like 2 weeks after the wildfires were fully contained, now these people are deciding to sell the house and deciding to move out of that house. I would do the same thing too, because wildfires are no freaking joke. It's so freaking scary. And unfortunately, so many people not only got their houses burnt down, but also a lot of people have lost their lives from these freaking wildfires. It's so darn scary. I am just thinking that this situation of getting this house on sale is kind of a bad idea at the same time, because yes, a lot of people do want to be living in a luxurious area like Malibu, don't get me wrong, but nobody wants to be living in a freaking risky area where wildfires are happening often. And I don't even think that a lot of people would be able to afford a house that is almost 35 million either. So if we are talking about selling the house, I believe that this person or these people that are selling this house should just abandon that house, or they should just, I don't know, do something else to that house, maybe tear it down or something, I don't know, and just go off and move somewhere else, and that's it. Like, that is just my suggestion. Now, I don't know if Barbara Streisand is interested in buying this house too, because I mean, the house is right next to her house anyways. I mean, it would be more convenient for her to be having 2 houses, especially if she's going to be having guests over. But I don't think that Barbara Streisand wants to be spending any more money on any more houses. I think that at this point she is just done with spending money. But anywho, I think that this house is gonna be never sold, in my opinion. In conclusion, okay, that is all I have to say about this. But good luck to these people that are selling this house. And by the way, it's a very, very beautiful house, and it has a very beautiful patio, and it has very beautiful landscape, and this and that. Okay, now that is it for today's show, ladies and gentlemen. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's lovely episode of The Jose Show. Till next time, and peace.